Vibranium, adamantium. How do you say any of this shit? Captain America Brave New World. I wear the right shirt for today's review. It's been a minute since the last proper MCU entry. Last year we got Deadpool vs. Wolverine, which was a lot. We seem to be back on track with an MCU proper film, this time with Anthony Mackie taking up the mantle of Captain America and finally getting his first solo film. Now, if you'll go all the way back to 2021, when The Falcon and the Winter Soldier show premiered on Disney Plus, you'll remember that Sam already took up Cap's shield. Yes, that uneven miniseries showed Sam struggling to live up to Steve Rogers, put on the suit, and save the day. It was a more political direction for the MCU, highlighting things like what does a black Captain America mean in today's day and age. It also dropped the ball on a lot of things by the end of it. Some interesting stuff, but ultimately uneven. So how does Brave New World reintroduce Sam's Cap to the mainstream in the proper Marvel Cinematic Universe? Not well. Yes, it pains me to report that the first Black Captain America gets the worst Captain America movie. Now, this is a movie that had a troubled production. Multiple reshoots, multiple rewrites. There's 5 writers on this thing. So the outlook wasn't looking good, but there's still fun things to be had. Anthony Mackie's in the suit. Harrison Ford is in the Thunderbolt Ross part now. And we'll get more political intrigue a la the Winter Soldier. Well, if you remember how you felt 11 years ago, it was a big adrenaline kick. I remember sitting in the theater thinking, wow, they're really pulling this off. Comic book elements, the action elements, updating this character for the modern world. It was an overwhelming success, and to this day, it's still one of the best MCU entries. Brave New World kicks off with the election of President Thunderbolt Ross. He is trying to broker a treaty between the US and Japan over a new element, adamantium, that comes from that big god thing that froze in the Pacific Ocean from the Eternals movie. Yeah, I don't remember it either. But adamantium means Wolverine is coming. In the midst of doing that deal, there's an assassination attempt by Isaiah Bradley, the former super soldier who was also in the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. Yeah, try to keep up. Sam believes Isaiah is innocent, and he goes rogue to find out the truth. Along the way, he's joined by the new Falcon, Joaquin Torres, played annoyingly by Danny Ramirez. It's not his fault, the character is just a jabbermouth and is never funny. And also by Sabra, the Israeli head of security for the president. It's another like 4 foot tall actress who like throws around 300-pound guys. I don't know. She's a terrible, useless character. This movie is pretty much trying to ride the 10-year plus wave of the Winter Soldier, but it just can't capture that magic. The action is serviceable but incredibly underwhelming. It's edited to shreds. The visual effects are boilerplate Marvel gloop on screen, and the pacing is just go, go, go. So we never sit with these characters, we never really get a good idea of the stakes of the situation, and scene after scene is just exposition dump after exposition dump. A big unmentioned thing about these Marvel movies is the horrendous production design. The movie mostly takes place in war rooms, cells, labs, and these are the most plain, boring looking locations you can think of. I know it's comic book characters set in a real world, but there are so many missed opportunities for interesting production design and visuals. This is a movie where super soldiers fly through the air and attack fighter jets, and spoiler, but it's in the trailers, the president turns into the Red Hulk and smashes the White House. These could be grand, epic images, and I don't think there is one image in this entire movie that is iconic, that takes your breath away, that makes you want to, I don't know, frame it and put it on your wall like a comic book panel. The lack of visual imagination with these movies, and especially this one, is staggering. Surprisingly, the biggest influence on this sequel are two Marvel movies that everyone hates: Eternals, which people barely remember, and The Incredible Hulk, all the way back from 2008, the second MCU movie. And it's kind of cool to see things finally paid off from that, but shoehorned into a Captain America movie, it's disappointing. Now, don't get me wrong, there's good stuff here. Mackie continues to be a charismatic presence. It's why it hurts so bad that he's given such lackluster material. But he's game, he looks great in the suit, and I hope he gets more opportunities. The broad beats of the conspiracy and what's actually going on, I don't hate. It all makes sense on paper, and who's pulling the strings? It's kind of cool to see this character finally make it to the big screen. He's enigmatic and weird and a little goofy, and I'm okay with that. I want a little more goofy thrown back into these movies. Throw a little more comic book, have a little more fun. But we never get time with this new villain. It's always just on to the next thing, on to the next thing. I'm hoping they use him for another movie. I'm hoping Sam gets redemption with a better movie. And also, I'm hoping for a proper Hulk sequel. I know there's rights issues with Universal, whatever, but 20 minutes at the end with Red Hulk just smashing around, it's just not enough. The way everything wraps up and resolves is completely disappointing and anticlimactic. They really just want you to just start thinking about the next movie before the credits even roll. There's so much you could do with a modern Captain America, especially with Sam Wilson, a black man who's being hired by a presumably conservative, maybe autocratic president. The movie doesn't want to touch anything political, and it's to its detriment. Because if it found one interesting angle, it could really just steer the ship a little bit and make all the CGI gloop go down a lot easier. Captain America Brave New World is way too safe, way too dull. It rides the wave of the best MCU movies and the worst, and it's a big disappointment. I give it a regrettable 2 out of 5 stars. If you like this review, please like or subscribe, or follow me on Letterboxd at RamirezS316. That's it for me. I'm gonna go take my Metamucil. Being the Hulk is murder on the digestive system.